David McGowan likes his wine and knows a bit about it. He went into his local Tesco in Clacton and bought a couple of bottles of the classy French wine Puy-Puiset. But when he got it home and drank it, he was in for a surprise.
I opened it up expecting it to be a dry French wine. I'm no expert, but I can tell a decent French dry wine to a cheap and sweet wine.
Daniel was convinced that what was on the label was not the wine in the bottle.
Purchasing it from Tesco's, couldn't have thought that anything, a counterfeit wine could have been sold.
Next day, he took the bottles back to the supermarket to complain. He was offered a refund.
I declined, and I just really asked for someone from Tesco's to speak to me, because I felt that, obviously that wasn't right, and Tesco's really shouldn't be, someone needed to explain the reasons why, that there was, what was in the bottle wasn't what it was actually supposed to be. I've received a letter from Tesco's saying that it was going to be, or there was nothing to do with them, and it was in the hands of their wine distribution company. I've had a conversation with the wine distribution company, who reimbursed me with 2 bottles of the actual wine that it should have been, and a bottle of champagne. But apart from that, there has been nothing more from Tesco's on this matter or anything else.
Tesco point out that this is the only time that this has ever happened in one of their stores. But 2 questions remain. Just what was in the bottle, and how did it get there? Daniel's brought it along to a top wine expert in London for some answers.
What I thought we'd do is maybe start off by tasting something I know to be real Puy-Puiset, and we'll see what it's like. I mean, this is classic southern Burgundian wine. It's a Chardonnay, it's 100%. So we should be getting some really nice aromas of things like minerals from the soil. Let's have a taste. Can you feel that creaminess coming from the oak contact? Yes. But there's that lovely sort of fresh mineral note. That's what Puy-Puiset is all about. Let's have a look at your bottle now. Well, I can tell straight away that this is a wrong one. It's the only way to describe it. Look at the shape of the bottle. Completely different shape. And when you're in, OK, you're in the know, Burgundy comes in that shaped bottle, other wines come in this shaped bottle. Louis Jadot, I know, never used screw caps. And this label, it's the wrong texture. The label is just cheap and nasty. It should be a lot better than that. And, well, it looks pure filth. Let's see what it tastes like. Have a try. I mean, you see, it smells completely different. I mean, there's hardly any nose on that. And it's sweet, and it's probably German, and it's probably not very good German.
So, it's German, cheap, and definitely not Puy-Puiset. But how did it get on Tesco's shelves? Tom thinks the distributors were conned by the fakers.
It's the most common fraud around at the moment. People buy a batch of really cheap wine, get some labels printed off, stick it on, and then just try and sneak it into the supply chain of a big company like they've tried here. Having said that, again, the people who've bought it probably didn't taste this wine. The way it normally works, and what I can work out, is that if you place an order, if you ask for samples of wine, you get the genuine article, but the fake stuff then gets slipped in to the supply chain and hopefully gets lost in there. So it's really hard to trace it back.
For Daniel, it's a relief to have the experts agree that his suspicions were correct.
It's the reason why I wrote in and went to see Tesco's. It's proved it's true.
Tesco believe that only 9 bottles of the fake wine were ever in their stores, but Tom thinks there's a reason why we don't hear more about wine frauds.
An awful lot of times I think people just taste it and they go, well, I don't like that wine, throw it away. Even if it's at the top end, they very rarely think they've been defrauded, they just think they don't like the wine.
Tom, I really appreciate you coming along today. You brought this bottle along here, and it's got what, to all intents and purposes, I would call netting on it, but that's not for decoration, is it?
Well, no, this is an 18th century anti-tamper device. The Riojan producers, there's a Rioja wine, they had a report that certain innkeepers in Barcelona were opening the wine, serving the wine, and then filling it with cheap plonk, resealing it, and selling the bottle again. And in order to try and prevent that happening, they put this wire cage or wire netting over the bottle as an early anti-tamper device.
And how have things moved on since then? What do they do now to the bottle?
And there was a huge Rioja scam involving thousands, hundreds of thousands of bottles of Rioja wine, some of which ended up in the UK. So there's Rioja producers, along with a lot of the producing areas of Spain, have put a seal on their bottles to prove that the wine has come from Rioja. So there's a Rioja stamp, there's a number. So you declare you're going to produce X number of bottles, you get X number of labels.
Yeah, but the problem there, of course, is labels are very easy to fake, especially with modern day technology. Most people can do it at home on a PC now, can't they?
To try and prevent that, they've now put a hologram on the label.
As a general rule of thumb now, for the layman like myself, what should I look out for when I'm buying wine?
Well, there's a number of things to look for. One is the quality of the printing of the label, and that's going to help you to some stage. The bottle shape's important. If you're dealing with wines from Burgundy or Bordeaux, they have specific shapes for the bottles. So if the bottle's in the wrong shape, it's obviously a wrong one.
Know your wines.
Yeah, know your wines.
Or certainly get to know them if they're expensive wines.
Yes.